Greetings to you all. I'm going to present my project proposal on SDG-16 Transparency Portal, which is an AI-enhanced government data accessibility and accountability interface. Uh, let's first start out by stating the impact statement. This system transforms government data from static files into living public knowledge. uh, why this portal matters. The real problem is that government data exists but is often fragmented across departments, published in non-searchable formats PDFs, scans, etc. So if the data is published in a non-searchable format, it becomes hard for the public to have access to it. It becomes hard for the public to interpret the data that has been given to them. So that's why we saw the need for the portal that explains every data that has been published in government institutions. It is difficult for citizens to interpret since the data is non-searchable. It becomes hard for someone to interpret something that he or she doesn't see or doesn't know. In order for you to interpret something, you need to know it so that you can have the clear information, you can have the clear interpretation of what is happening, how and why is it happening. And also, this data is only accessible to experts. Non-experts doesn't have access to this data, so that's why there is need for a portal that interprets the data. This results in low public trust, weak accountability, barriers to civic participation, and data inequality. In order for someone to have trust in something, he or she needs to know it. You cannot trust what you don't know. You cannot trust what you don't see. In order for you to trust something, you need to see it. If you see it, then you explain and interpret it. From there, you can start to have trust on it. And also, in order for something to be held accountable, you need to know what is happening, how it happened, and why it happened. If if you don't know, you cannot hold someone accountable of what you don't know. Why this portal matters? It matters because of open data mandates. Because open data mandates are increasing, citizens are demanding transparency. AI can break complex data into simple and understandable data. There is trust in institutions. The trust in institutions are declining globally. So all these things they can be solved only if there is something that can interpret and put the data that has been supplied to the public in a readable and understandable way so that anyone can go through and understand without facing challenges. Lack, lack of transparency affect the citizens, the journalists, civil society organizations, policy analysts, small businesses. Uh, this transparency portal is aligned to Sustainable Development Goal 16.6, which develops effective, accountable, and transparent institutions. and SDG 16.10, which ensures public access to information. The technical solution of the problem that has been identified above. So we're going to explain the overview before we go to the demonstration of how the transparency portal is going to be working. Overview: a transparency portal that presents government datasets, budget, procurement projects, visually structures information for public understanding. It visually structures information for public understanding. It uses AI to summarize, explain, and surface accountability signals. It provides simple, searchable citizens first interface. This project is a front-end focused AI. Outputs are demonstrated through user interface behavior rather than backend interpretation. Implementation details. It is mainly going to be focused on front end, the client side. Step one, it is the data selection and user interaction stage. What happens here is that the user select the dataset, for example, the national budget of 2024, which uses cards or drop down. Each dataset includes a short plain language description. The purpose is to establish user intent, ensures transparency from the first interaction. Around step 2, raw data display. The elements of this step are the tables showing allocations, results, expenditure, simple bars or line charts. What the user sees are the original figures without interpretation, clear labels, and readable formatting. The teaching principle: transparency starts by showing data before AI explanation. Uh, Step 3, AI summary generation, explainability layer, user action. Clicks explain this data, and then loading indicator, AI generated summary displayed in plain language. Uh, After, if the user clicking the explain this data panel, it is going to display the information from the data that has been supplied, and this data is going to be explained in such a way that everyone can understand it. For example, in 2024, the Ministry of Health spent 18% above its allocated budget, mainly due to emergency medical procurement. Key rule: AI explains patterns, not conclusions or accusations. The AI, it explains the data that has been given, and then the conclusions are going to be brought by the user of coming from the information that has been displayed and explained through the AI. Uh, it From there we go to the highlighting accountability signals, front-end visuals, spending, logic spikes highlighted in a neutral color, two tips explaining why the value stands out. Uh, on screen clarification, this is an indicator, not evidence of wrongdoing. It's just an indicator. So an indicator just shows what's happening. It's not an evidence of wrongdoing. It's not an evidence of wrongdoing, because many people might think that there is wrongdoing. or teaching principle. Algorithm surfaces signals and then the humans interpret the meaning. There is a citizen question interface, user interaction, simple text input for questions. Example questions: which ministry exceeded its budget? How much was spent on roads in my province? Those are some of the questions you might ask. And the response: AI generated readable answers displayed below the question. Purpose: lowers the barrier to civic participation. It makes public data conversational. On the ethics and trust indicators, each page includes a clear disclaimer here, which says AI generated explanations are for information purposes only. Always verify with official records. Uh, this matters because it prevents misinformation. It builds institutional trust, aligns with SDG values. So let's now go to the demonstration of how this portal is going to be working. So here's the constant data. So you can see we've got the ministry, the allocated amount, and the amount spent. Uh, so here for the Ministry of Health, which was allocated $100 and it spent $118. We've got the Ministry of Education, which was allocated $90 and it spent $87. The Ministry of Transport, which was allocated $80 and it spent $95. From our portal, here's the raw data. Now I've got the ministry allocated spent. So here's the raw data that we have got from our table. From there, we go here. There's this click explain this data. You can see here the explanation. In 2024, the Ministry of Health spent 18% above the allocated data. And then the disclaimer is here. From there, we can go down to ask questions. You ask questions about the budget. You can ask your questions.